Hello and welcome to a submission video for AGDQ 2024. For the consideration of the GDQ staff, I wanted to submit a Peggle World of Warcraft edition Grandmaster run. I have Helios, one of the other top Peggle runners and submitters, here to give me some co-commentary. And real quick, before you hop in, I want to give a real quick breakdown of what this is. This is a normal run of Peggle World of Warcraft edition, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a second. But beyond doing the normal any % route of the 10 levels in the game, we're also going to be doing the 10 challenges in the game, which kind of fleshes it out to a good, even 30 minutes for a good run. We'll see how this goes. We're going to do no reset here, obviously, as it would be in a marathon. And I say, let's go ahead and get started, and then we can kind of talk more about what is going on here. So let's go ahead and get into it. So yeah, so this run is, well, I guess Helios, do you want to talk a little bit about your understanding of what is the difference between WoW edition and normal?
Yeah, okay, so this is it's a collaboration that they did when Peggle Nights came out. This was a little bit afterwards. They did a collaboration where they had this basically a level pack of these couple levels. It's 10 levels. Themes to World of Warcraft. So this came out, I believe it was either 2008 or 2009 after
like that,
Peggle Nights. Yeah. And it's a couple different levels that run on the same engine as Peggle Nights. So there's some slight differences when it comes to speedrunning versus Peggle Deluxe, that anything that works in Nights and doesn't work in Deluxe also works and doesn't work in here. So it's a nice little refresher, a way to get out of your normal groove and getting tired of speedrunning the same game over and over again. It's a cool way to still play the game and keep it varied. So, as we'll see here, actually some of these levels are very nice. There's a couple tricky levels in here that make this sometimes a pain to run, but like this one here is probably one of my favorites. And
Yeah,
we'll
this
see
is
later,
a very
smooth ones as well.
This is a very satisfying one. I just realized I have my split sounds on, so I apologize for that. That obviously would not be in a normal full run. Anyways, this level,
it's a nice little pack.
Yeah, this level this game is, it's only 10 levels, so it's much shorter than the kind of full releases of Peggle, Peggle Deluxe, and Peggle Nights, and I guess Peggle 2, if you count that. But part of the reason that I chose to submit this is because I think that it is a good length when you factor in the Grandmaster aspect of this run, which is, so a Grandmaster run, to differentiate that from a any % or individual master or new game plus, all of the normal runs, the main difference is that beyond completing the base game, which you still do, you also then basically complete all of the challenges in the game. And there's even one tier of GM type run that is one step further, which in most of the games is called Extreme Grandmaster, where you not only do that, but you also full clear, and in some cases have even other things to do for every single level. This one we're doing is not quite 100% of this game of Peggle World of Warcraft edition, but it is close. We're doing all the base game, and then all of the levels, all the challenges tied to the levels. Do you want to talk a little bit about how a GM run looks in like Peggle Deluxe, Helios, or in other games?
Yeah. So the way that Potion explained is it's pretty much how it works in the other games. It's just that because this is a smaller level pack, it's a small amount of levels with a small amount of challenges. So we have a couple, I believe there's a score challenge coming up. We have to score a certain amount of points. Peggle was originally designed, even though it is a pretty fun speedrun game, it wasn't designed as one. It was designed as like a point style, get as many points as you can every level.
Yeah.
So a lot of these challenges are going to be get as many points as possible. Yeah. And so on, which we'll actually see later on here, a nice sampler of the different challenges you would see in Peggle Deluxe or Peggle Nights Grandmaster run, which is, I believe it's like 75 challenges or something absurd.
In Deluxe it's
game.
75. It's actually a little less than Nights, but they are more fun in my opinion.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Nights is way more fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you'll here we'll have one or two of each type of challenge, but Deluxe will have 5 of the same type of challenge. Yeah. And so it's a much longer run, but it's a lot of the similar style stuff. So we'll also see at least one of what I consider, and a lot of people consider to be the bane of speedrunning, but is a pretty unique challenge to Peggle. It's the duel mode, where you are playing against Peggle's, AI, where they will take the shots and you're basically trying to beat the level, get more points than them at the same time.
Yeah,
there's only one of those in this run.
It's something that never comes up normally in most runs, but in these runs where it's all about doing all the additional challenges and stuff, sometimes there's duels that pop up. So
yeah, and the Peggle AI for late 2000s is pretty smart. We get outsmarted more than we'd like to admit by that thing, so it can be pretty fun, in whatever sense of the word you'd like for speedrunning.
Smart, and it's just, it cheats basically. It cheats in the sense that it gets stuff that no human could ever find for shots.
Yeah.
But
if you think of like whose aimbot power is in the game, it's basically that, but it's also doing the shot itself. So it's taking the human aspect out, and it's just absurd what you can do sometimes.
But so as we are getting going here, so again, we're just doing the adventure mode, the normal stuff. We're gonna get to the challenges after that, and again, we're a little bit behind what I would hope for a PB pace run, but this is just no reset, nothing. So we're gonna live with what we get here. And
this is a pretty good clear of this level here.
Yeah, this level is actually probably the hardest one. I would say definitely the hardest one in the pack. We will be seeing it again in one of the challenges, at least one. It might be in two of them. I don't remember.
I think so.
Off the top of my head.
Yeah. This is a cool level. We can just sit and admire this one. Pochi's using some tap shots here. There's different variants of shots in this game. These are some tap shots to get these very clean slides.
Yep.
Look at that.
And
then one more. Boom.
Yeah.
One of the most satisfying levels across all the Peggle games. It's just so cool to watch.
And that's one reason I actually really like this level pack. Again, it's a standalone game, but it is basically just a big level pack with its own kind of challenges and everything. One of the reasons I really like it is because I think that the levels are actually, for the most part, pretty good. Like, it's pretty high quality levels in this level pack. And yeah, it's again, it's a good sampler of what one of the longer GM runs would look like as well. The longer GM runs are generally going to run you in the range of 3 or more hours, or 4, I think, roughly.
Yeah, so if you're Panaha and you're like the best in the world, you can. It still takes several hours. Like, my time is over 10 hours.
Yeah,
like, I did. It's,
yeah,
that was fun though.
Yeah, but luckily this one being a little shorter is, I think, most people's times around 40 minutes or so. My PB is there are 2 people that have a sub 30 time, and I have a 30-minute almost even time. So that's kind of like a good margin to try and aim for. Of course, in this run, we're probably going to make some mistakes. It's probably not going to be perfect, but just as an idea of kind of what the length of this GM run is, it's a little shorter. But again, still get a good sampler of the kind of strategies you are going to normally use. So we're going to be seeing this level again fairly soon. This is actually one of the point level challenges.
Yeah, this is one of the trickiest challenges in the whole run.
Yeah, and right now we're just doing it normally, but we're going to come back to it in a bit for a challenge. And I actually have cooked up some special strats just to help us with this level in a bit.
Ooh.
So.
Yeah, this is probably a good spot. So this level takes a while, even at its best. So this is probably a good spot for any donation readings as well.
Yeah,
burning through this one here.
Yeah. If this was an actual run, this would be. There would actually probably be a good few opportunities early on in the run.
Next level 2.
Yeah. A few of these early levels, as you're going through, don't have much to say once we've already explained the base. That's another thing, by the way, is just for purposes of laying out how this would look in an actual marathon. At this point in the run, we would probably be, definitely by this point, probably earlier, we would have definitely talked about like some of the basic Peggle kind of stuff for anyone who has missed it. But we've explained a lot of that in other submissions, and the game has been run a couple times at GDQ events, so I think it's fair that we kind of presume that would have been talked about. And whatever.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was
and there are some more detailed mechanics that are not unique to Grandmaster runs, but get utilized there a lot as compared to like regular speedrunners. So when we actually get to those portions, things like the free ball skills and like how to rack up the points with style shots, that will come in handy. We'll be talking about those a bit later, because right now when you're playing the game normally, they happen. Like, you might see like a super long shot pop up, but generally we're not going for those when we're trying to actually beat the game, unless you're in a tough spot and kind of have to. They're good for like pulling yourself out of a level that you might fail, but otherwise they don't really have much use.
Yeah, and as Helios was saying, one thing I really want to stress is that one reason I really like these GM runs is because you could obviously just play the game as quick as possible normally, just go through adventure mode. But one thing that I really like about these modes, well, for one, it is closer to like 100% speed run, and which, the 100% speed runs, you have to do the challenges as part of that. And so this is giving a good sample of what that would look like.
And right here we're seeing some free ball skills we just mentioned, trying to clear up a spot there.
But as Helios was mentioning earlier, there's also a I think it's really cool because this is kind of the more intended way of playing the game, where it's about points a lot of the times, right? This game was meant as a, literally an arcade-style game. And so it's fun to be able to speedrun the game, and you're also speedrunning it, but you're also worrying about the points in a way that is closer to what the original way of playing it was, right? So you kind of get both the benefit of speedrun, the fun of speedrunning, and the fun of like the arcadey style point-based gameplay, because some of the objectives are doing that as quick as possible. So yeah. This level is a bit of a tricky one here. Let's see if I can...
it's a famous run killer being right at the end, but it's not super bad.
Yeah.
If you will notice that, because there's only 10 levels, there's another game pack called Peggle Extreme that only uses Bjorn. Here we have Bjorn and Spork.
That is a good thing to mention. Yeah,
so
that is true.
It's nice that, while I am a Peggle Extreme main, I love that game to my heart. Having Spork in this game is very nice.
Yes.
It helps with some of these levels like this, and like the NG Plus version of this game. Spork's a nice pick. Two very good masters to help us get through these levels. It makes for very nice casual play as well.
Yeah. So this is where a normal any percent run would be ending. It's about 10 minutes long if you don't have any fails. Obviously now we are going to be hopping into the second half of the run, which is the harder part with the challenges, and probably going to be the majority of the run here. So the first one is a 55 orange pegs. Pretty self-explanatory, but I guess if you have anything to mention about Helios that I'm forgetting.
There are 55 orange pegs.
Yeah, as opposed to the normal of 25. It is harder, but not much else to say. It's basically just beat the level and do a better job because you have to.
Yeah. And so this is a challenge that pops up a lot in like Deluxe and Nights. Is you'll have like a couple almost like pages of these where you have like 35 pegs, 45 pegs, and you have someone like Tula who just hits every orange peg in the vicinity and things like different powers. So what's interesting with this is while Bjorn and Splork are good masters, you're locked into them. So it kind of forces you to be a little creative in how you do challenges you're more familiar with in the main games in this situation. This is a nice shot here.
Yeah, so you get a little slide there, really opens up the level, gets almost all the oranges in there as well. Game is dropping a few frames, that's okay. And we're still not even necessarily safe on this level because we have so many oranges left, but we're gonna try our best here.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because there's so many oranges that fever meter on this side, which helps build up the multiplier, which is another mechanic we can go into later when we're talking about like free balling. It doesn't even do anything until you're down to the regular 25. So it's just you don't really get any benefit of, the multiplier shots, upping your score to get free balls until you've already gotten most of the oranges gone in this challenge. So they can be a bit of a challenge. It's like, it's going to be easier because it's faster. It's one of the easier challenges, I would say, but definitely not free.
Yeah.
This is one of it's just such a good challenge.
So this one we're going from.
Familiar with this one.
Yeah. So this is the low score challenge rather. So it's kind of funny. We were talking earlier about how the intended way of playing is like high score based, but it's funny because there is literally a challenge where you do the opposite as well, where you go for low score, and it is actually interesting. And I think that this level is this is probably one of the better levels for this type of challenge. Peggle Nights also has a couple challenges along this line, and I much more dislike those actually. I prefer this game for it, but
it changes up how you think about the level because usually you're trying. When you're trying to get as many points as possible, you're getting the free ball bucket, you're chaining oranges together. But here, you might have seen those like pop-ups like orange attack that gives you 50,000 points. Well, if you're trying to stay under 150,000, you're not going to want that.
Yeah.
So it changes up. You play a lot more carefully while also still trying to beat the level normally. And so like in some of the deluxe GMs, you can beat a challenge without clearing the level. But with Knights, you have to finish the level and do the challenge. So it looks like we're going to be very safe on this one, except for that purple.
Yeah, but that's okay here because here's the deal. Okay, I'm going to take it a little easy, a little slow here. I'm going to first free ball this because I do want an extra ball and it probably won't matter. I'm going to clear this out of the, no, I'm going to actually just go for it here. We have an extra ball, so if we miss, okay. And as long as we can hope Oh, okay, and that's why we left ourselves an extra ball. As long as we don't get a bunch of points in the fever, we're going to be okay here. And what I'm actually going to do is aim for the corner to try and bounce over the rest of this stuff here.
Nice. Yeah.
And it worked out. We are lucky. Yeah, if we got the 100, we would have been a little screwed there, but we made it through. Now we're on to the duel, the infamous duel. Luckily, this one's not that bad, but
yeah.
The duels again are a thing that is what was built as one of the core things that you were expected to do in post-game content and just to have fun with. Originally by the developers, that was one of the intended main ways you keep having fun with the game after beating it. But as speedrunners, we don't necessarily play it a lot, so it is kind of funny. Ooh, that super long shot is not good for me. We'll see if I can beat this. It might take a few tries because, again, the AI could sometimes kind of pull stuff that you wouldn't necessarily be expecting a human to pull off. And that was a good shot for us, though. Definitely still doing it.
There have been a few cases. It's not many, but in the realm of Peggle strat hunting, there has been. I know of at least one time that the AI actually got a shot that was so good that we actually recreated it to be used in the speedruns because we're like, okay, we have to use this. It's on Nights level, I think.
Yeah.
Where we're like, all right, we're gonna use that. It's kind of a weird shot, but it was like the computer just did it, right? There's it's a deterministic game. When we talk about the strats that we use Poetry is famous for using the tap shots. There's another strat that's called pixel shots where you aim at the same part of the screen every time, the same pixel. You'll get the same shot every time.
Yep.
And so if the AI does a really cool shot, we can sometimes go back and try to reconstruct. Okay.
I messed up my splits, so I just realized. That's fine.
Yeah, we're not gonna see splits in the.
Yeah, no, the splits aren't gonna matter. So yeah, this is actually an interesting situation where, speaking of the different types of strats, this is one where, although tap shots are normally not really ideal in a lot of situations for any percent runs, in a situation like this, they can be very, very powerful. And we're gonna see one example here where my first shot really opened up the level, and now we're gonna get some guaranteed points here. I just have to kind of configure the shot until I get it to where I want it. We need to make sure that we're hitting the very first one in this set that I'm aiming at. And the way that Bjorn works, there we go. The way that Bjorn works is that he's gonna allow us to kind of re-aim until we get the kind of setup we want. And the setup we want is to get an extreme slide, which gives us style points. And style points normally don't do anything in most categories of runs in this game. But in runs where points matter, style points matter, because they add to your total for a level.
And there are a lot of points too. So if you're talking about these challenges we're trying to get 300,000 points, if you get a super long shot, that's 50k. Extreme slide, 50k. And so that's 50,000 less points you have to worry about trying to get, because the pegs themselves are worth 1,000-ish maybe. So it really comes down to planning out here. Probably trying to get a extreme long shot, super long shot here.
Yeah, I don't think this will be...
That'll at least be a long shot.
Yeah, this is going to be, just a normal long shot, but basically looking to get as much score as we can from any methods. And part of the reason that I use the strats I do here on this level is that even though they're not perfect, there's still a lot left that my starting shots didn't get. The level's very open, and what that is going to allow us to do is, what Helios has mentioned a couple times now, which is free ball skills.
Those give you, 5,000 points each time? Yeah.
5,000 points each time. The fifth one you get, if you can get 5 in a row, which, okay, I'm not going to get it here. We might have a reset here, but again, that's kind of expected. This is one of the harder challenges. Okay, so unfortunately, first try didn't work out. That is actually totally fine. What I'm going to do here is actually do a couple of resets to try and get what I would want as a good loadout here.
But this could be another donation moment where we're finding a good setup to play out this level here.
Exactly. And what I'm looking for is, I don't think that's enough. I'm looking for a situation where if we get really lucky, we could even get in the very first shot, a guaranteed orange attack, which is if you get a whole multiplier tier's worth of oranges, you can get a bunch of free points, and with the strat I use, it would be guaranteed 100%, and a really good way to start it. Looks like we might not get that, so I might just take the next decent generation. Not quite what I want there, not quite what I want there. We'll do a couple more, and then we'll just...
This is the hidden world of Peggle speedrunning, where you often see you see the fastest times in the leaderboard and whatnot. The amount of level resetting that goes into dead runs like this.
And
but this is a marathon, so it's different.
Exactly, and this is a good situation because it is going to hit both of these greens at once, which actually is a way to get a little bit of extra style points there.
Yeah, you get your unique little catchphrases and whatnot whenever that happens.
Yep.
And yeah, score. Peggle just got a lot of charm to it that makes it such a fun game.
Oh, and there we go. So we're starting here on this attempt with already. We're gonna see after this points, after this shot, it'll tally up. We have already 120,000 points out of the amount that we need. And now, if I can find a. Trying to look for a decent shot. I don't think this will be long shot, but it might.
It's gonna be just short, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for it anyways though because it was.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Because I kind of want to do.
Yeah, we'll get that purple. Get a point boost,
beautiful.
Health, and the free ball. Oh,
yeah. So that is a a lot of times it comes down to calculated risks. I would say in this more than anything else.
Like this shot here.
Yeah. So this shot, I think
that'll make it.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it even so close to getting that. But you can see here how on this attempt we already have 200,000 points out of the amount that we need, which is
with 7 balls left.
With 7 balls left, yeah. This one I don't think I have any long shot, so I'm just gonna go for something like this. Basically, just try to get a good amount of points from just normal peg hitting. And same there, right? We decided to take some calculated risks and really just make stuff work in our favor. And we're doing pretty good in this one. And this is, okay.
Nice.
And
I think that's it. Then.
Yeah, that is it. So sometimes you get just a little lucky. And I don't even remember if you have to win the challenge for this one, but we're going to win.
I think you do in Nights. It's kind of...
Yeah. It depends on the challenge too, but yeah. So there we go. So that is again one of the harder challenges, and that's not a bad attempt at it. This is actually another one of the harder challenges, and I actually cooked up some unique strats just for this one that I'm going to show off here.
Well, what I'm showing off here, this is these are some of the they're definitely the hardest for me. I've had in the community, I'm famous for I spent like an hour on one of these before. It's there because you have one ball to clear the entire level. So it's kind of, you're relying on the game's point mechanic to give you enough points to get a free ball every single shot. So like here, first shot, there's a free ball.
Okay.
Whereas the game would be over if we didn't get that.
And
so
finally,
what I'm doing is resetting here.
I'm still going to reset because I have a specific kind of type of shot I'm looking for, which is, I think we got it here. We get a free ball from points, and if I timed it correctly, I didn't get there. You want to get a net gain of a ball if you can, and I am willing to reset for it because it is a tough enough challenge to warrant it.
Yeah, because all it takes is one bad shot and you're done. Because with like this. And then Deluxe and Nights both have these. They have like 1 ball challenge, 2 ball challenge. They'll have some other ones I don't believe are present in WoW, but they have like beat 3 levels with 15 balls. So it's like you chain together levels and you only have a certain amount between them. Whereas in the normal game, you have 10, whatever you have left over, resets for the next level. Now those are a fun challenge of how many levels can you beat without resetting the amount of balls you have. It's really cool. You have just different ways to play this game that we already know and love. It's like here, we had this net gain where we started with 1, and now we have 2. So we're gonna do some free ball skillings there.
And that's unfortunate, but that happens.
Yeah, that's the rim of the bucket is a fickle beast. It seems to always be the magnet of where the balls will go. And they bounce off of that, don't get your free ball.
Luckily, Bjorn is very good for these types of challenges. So
yeah,
we're gonna use Bjorn here to much benefit, hopefully.
And so this is also probably a good point to either talk about donations, or we can talk about the multiplier mechanic, which is popularized by Britcha, but has always been present in the game. That fever meter on the side there, it's one of those things like it's just been in our face, and we never really utilized it until he was like, "Oh, this is like really good." That you see like the times 2,
I wonder
times
if this
3.
is enough points for a free ball here.
I don't know. It's gonna be close.
Yeah.
I think with the multiplier, so you can see that we have a times 10.
Here's what I'm gonna do.
Up there. Oh boy.
I'm gonna take a bit of a risk and go for this, and it worked out.
Yeah, there you go. Boom.
It wouldn't have been enough too, so yeah, that's good. And now we have a guaranteed win. So I took a calculated risk, delayed the shot that I needed to do, so I could make sure to get enough points to get a free ball on points. And so that goes to show how one reason I really love these GM runs, and I think that was a good showcase there, is just to show that they're very strategic in a lot of ways. Like even more, all Peggle runs are strategic. Don't get me wrong, but I think even more than normal runs, there's different types of strategies you really have to employ for these. So yeah. And we have a good situation here. This one, by the way, is purely about the style points that we already mentioned earlier, where we just have to get enough of these style points to beat the challenge, and we are pretty much guaranteed to get it here. So that's good. And
so these are the fun ones. These ones.
Yeah, there's a lot of really fun ones here. We're gonna use the same strats I used before, which if I can remember them, here we go.
Yeah, this is one of those challenges where like it was intended for you to find the creative ways to get these slides, and as the community, we did with guaranteed strats to get all 3. So this is probably one of the easiest challenges across any Peggle game.
Yep.
To just immediately 1, 2, 3, it's done. However, you have to get the slides, so it's not free, but with the strategies to do them, fairly simple.
Yeah, and I'm even gonna take it a little slow here just to make sure that I can get it. Actually, that might be a bad choice, I'm realizing now, because I think my strats... Yeah. Oh, let's see here.
And
okay, we're good.
Bjorn can affect when you're tapping around. When you get Bjorn's super guide power, it actually affects how far the taps move.
Yep.
They'll move less
and
to
that's
be able
why,
to get a more precise shot.
Yeah, and that's why Helios is he was exactly right. That's why I said I might have screwed myself a little bit there, but no, we were fine in the end. But yeah. Bjorn, as Helios is saying, Bjorn can affect your shots and kind of mess them up.
Yeah, but he's still one of the best. Yeah, I stand by it. Often people are like, "Oh, he doesn't do anything for you." He's actually really helpful. For a good practice as well to find out how you're aiming, where your shots are going.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Tula and Cinder because they're fast, but I'm a Bjorn fan.
This level is an interesting one because it tests you on a skill we've been mentioning, which is your ability to do free ball skills. And it is a little bit of an annoying challenge because of these moving blockers that we have here.
Yeah. Free ball skills usually aren't super tricky.
Yeah.
There's with the round pegs, it's dependent on the height on the map. So the higher up they are, you might actually hit them with the indicator and can see what point you're aiming at. The low ones, like this purple one here, are trickier because you don't see where you're gonna hit, and so that just requires some intuition of we've been doing this long enough, we can tell, okay, if we hit the peg here, it'll bounce over there.
Yeah.
Now that was a good slight past that moving orb there.
Luckily, we don't have to get them in a row here. We just need to get 5 total. So we're
Nice.
We got a good opening here. Oh, and I messed it up. That is okay. Again, this is not a terribly hard challenge. It just might take some practice getting used to.
Yeah, and with one more.
So
Nice.
technically that wasn't a...
But it doesn't count.
Yeah, we got a lucky bounce, which is a different type of style point that is, okay, I might have messed that one up too. Okay, well, hold on. Give me just a moment here. I'm gonna wait for an opening. All right, well, we're gonna give it another try. Again, that's okay. This one is not the hardest, certainly not the hardest challenge in the set, but it can take a couple tries if you unfortunately just get a little unlucky.
Yeah, that's something that sets Peggle Nights different from Peggle Deluxe, is that you have a lot more. Like I said, this is WoW, but it's similar to Nights in that it has a lot of I don't know what's the right word here. Unique aspects to the level design, where in Deluxe you have moving pegs, you have some things like blockers in the way, like the bumpers that bounce it around. You don't have them nearly as much as in Nights, which is great for a casual play. It makes the game way more exciting, and when it comes outside of speedrunning, I actually would say I do prefer Peggle Nights.
Yes.
Because it's more fun, there's more things to do in the levels. But when it comes to speedrunning, we're talking about consistency, doing the same things every time. And so when you've got these 3 green orbs flying around the level, it becomes that much more difficult. Like I said, free ball shots aren't super tricky once you're up to the practice, but they were getting in the way of these shots and make them that much more difficult, which is a fantastic challenge. But a tricky speedrun. That was a cool.
Yeah, that was a weird. Okay.
And the lucky bounce.
Yeah.
It means you can just really get into.
You do get funky situations like that. Yeah.
This is what Peggle was meant to be like, just having fun with everything the game has to offer. We're just trying to do it really quickly.
Okay, I still have plenty of chances here, and there we go. All right, so now we're on to this.
I have a history with this challenge.
Yeah, if you want to explain about this one real quick.
Okay, so we've been talking about getting as many points as possible, and things like the multiplier and the style shot. So that was absurd right there.
Yeah.
This is it's a level that has very few pegs. You'll notice that even though the levels have the same amount of orange pegs, they'll have varying amounts of the blue ones. So this is a very low number of those things. So it's very difficult to score high on this level because you don't have a lot to work with. And so you're forced to do things like these super long shots, and that was a really good one there.
Yeah, that was
That
lucky.
gets you, each one of those is 50,000 points. And you have Bjorn to do it with. So you can get these basically across the level shots. So build up those super long shots, and if you get, 8 of them, then you'll be good.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you start to get to this point where you run out, where you're having trouble finding, because there's so few pegs, you can't quite hit as many. And so you run into this problem of, oh, what are we doing? Oh no.
Yep.
And so there's another, I don't know if we'll get to it, but full clearing is a nice way to get at least 100,000 points. But you have to get there first. And on a level like this with some awkward angles on the bricks and the moving pegs in the center, it can be pretty tricky. However, we are making good work of this level. I got it, like I said.
I thought it would be a lucky bounce.
Nice.
Okay, so
So good, though.
we're doing pretty all right here. And at this point, what I'm going to, I think, try to do is, if I could snag one more, if we could snag one more long shot, that would work. Or alternatively, if we just get like a couple decent shots and some free ball skills, which is what I'm really going for here. Oh,
Yeah, each of those is 5,000. And unfortunately, that multiplier in the slide is good for when you're hitting the pegs itself, because they'll basically multiply the amount of, like we just got 50 points from that peg instead of 10 because we're at times 5.
Yep.
However, it does not affect, you don't get 5 times 50,000 for getting a super long shot. So you do have to strategize a bit. The multiplier is helpful, but it has its place. However, it looks like we are going to be...
that was a long shot, so
we
got
have
it.
the points. We just have to actually finish the level now, which
Yep.
you have 3 and 3. 3
Should
oranges,
be-
3 balls.
Should be no issue
With
here, as long
boom,
as I
there we
don't rush it.
You could full clear for fun, though.
No, I think I'm good here. Helios is always the joker there. But yeah,
I'm
so
saying, you just got it,
first try on that, really good. It took it, we had to take it slow, but we did get it. And we're actually back on the same level because it is also part of the very last challenge, which this one is not free, but is definitely one of the more consistent challenges. So I think we can kind of relax a little bit at this point and kind of just talk about it. Well, real quick, this challenge, just so we know, it's just 5 levels in a row. And unlike in Deluxe and Nights, where they have like multi-level challenges like this, in those games it's actually random which ones you get. In this one, it is always the same levels. And I don't remember off the top of my head which ones they even are. But either way, we don't have any other objectives. We just have to beat the levels. So we're basically doing the equivalent of half of the base game again. So
Yeah, but what makes this more challenging is that we have to do all 5 of these in one, not one session, because you can stop it and come back to it, I think. But you can pause the game and whatnot.
yeah,
But you have to beat all 5 in a row.
you have to beat them consecutively, yeah. So we're going the second one. If we lose on this one, I will have to go back to the first. And it's interesting because Splork is generally, I think, the better master between him and Bjorn. But for a lot of these levels, I think they really work well with Bjorn. And so that is why you can tell that I'm still using Bjorn.
Your game.
So, and hopefully we can get through these levels all first try, otherwise we gotta start over again. But, okay, that was a good second shot.
Nice recovery there. You maybe get... Oh, ordinary.
Yeah.
Peggle can be a fickle beast sometimes. It's pachinko at its core. You get the power over the first shot. You can kind of see where the second and third bounce is going to go, but then it's chaos theory from there. So when you're talking about, these, you're getting to this point where there's like so many oranges left and 3 balls left. You're thinking, okay, well, how can I safely, free ball skills? You can get and sometimes just the luck of the bucket there.
Yeah, sometimes that'll happen, but
Peggle physics moment. You try to say, okay, well, what are my safest shots to be able to clear the oranges without having to rely on hopefully hitting the oranges in other shots. So
and you can also take risky shots like this. Let's see if it pays off. Nope.
well, yeah. It's half skill, half luck. The skill only gets you so far. There is a lot of some speedrunners will say it's all skill, but I do believe there is quite a bit of luck involved, especially in moments like this. However, the skill.
I'm gonna take it very slow and careful here.
Yeah, this is completely doable, despite how scary it looks.
This is gonna pop out pretty far though, so I'm a little worried about this. I may mess up here. Let's see. So I did not account for that, and so here we see an example.
And then the heartbreak of clearing the entire level slowly, just to fail it. That's the everyone who plays Peggle's been through that before. the heartbreak.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's not a huge deal. This has still been even with the fail there that is going to make us redo this level, that's not a terrible loss. We just lost, a couple minutes from the first 2 levels. And I will say,
dicey when you're on 5.
Yeah, I will say, like, this is probably one of the easier challenges. So the fact that we got some of the harder ones first try is I was much more worried about some of the other ones, like the 400k point challenge we just did on this level before this is I think much more brutal than this one.
Which that one when I did this run a while back took me like almost an hour.
Yeah.
So it's like it's. There we go.
And this is actually decent.
So you can see one of these pixel shots here. That same shot we saw earlier just happened again because we aimed at the same spot.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we're gonna go. Ooh, broke the slide a little bit.
Yeah. So that's a little unfortunate. I'm gonna clear this out of the way first, and then. But we actually have much better generation here. A lot more is in this slide. So even though it doesn't get the whole thing, we still got a lot of benefit out of that.
And that's one of the core things of Peggle is that we can strategize as much as we want, but the oranges are always in different spots every time. So while we have our openers, while we have shots, we know what they're going to do. They may do different things every time. We're not always guaranteed to get like an orange attack on the first shot because you may have a slide set up that has like 2 oranges on it. Mm-hmm. So it's part of the other strategy is that, again, it's all random.
Yep.
Which is the fun of it. Strategy won't take you so far.
Yep. In this situation, we're on to the...
On the fly every single time. It's not consistent in that way.
Yeah. We're on to the 3rd level now, which the 3rd level, I'm going to I want to play a little safe here, right? Because we are, 3 levels in, don't want to have to do the first 2 again.
So one of the compounds, the further you go. Like there's a challenge in Deluxe and Nights, it's 10 of these in a row. Then a Capelon. So that's its own category. I'm
purposely leaving this this green here because the more we can get, the longer we can leave it, the more benefit we can actually get from it. And that is a little unfortunate even for the strat, but I think we're still doing actually very fine here. Where basically, if we leave the green long enough, then the multiplier, which goes up from having less oranges on the board. Oh, okay, we popped a little early. We're still doing very well here. But basically, the later you leave it, the more benefit you can get, the more chance of getting free balls, and the more points you get, which luckily on this challenge doesn't matter anymore. But on the earlier ones, I don't even think we had a chance where I really needed to get it up and use it, but it's still...
Yeah, like that was a spot where we didn't need it, but it was going to help
make
quick work of the challenge.
And just for fun on this one, I'm going to do the same strat I did earlier.
So yeah, this is Poetry's famous for finding these really fun long, we have
I'd say more infamous than famous
pixels to aim at, and then here we have this like really nice strategy that requires you to tap 25 times on the left side.
Yep.
It's wild how these even just work. So it's really cool to see. There's obviously you can play the game however you want, but there's 2 branches of strategy where while you can try to aim at pixels every time, those are pretty difficult to do. So there's other strategies like the tap shots that they're a lot easier to pick up for people. They're slower, but far more safer. And like I said, Poetry can do them really fast too, so it's really cool. It goes to show that, again, in the whole, you can play this game any way you want. There's a lot of room for things to do.
Yeah, and the benefit with the tap shots and the reason I did one here is because they are very consistent. And I mean, so are pixel shots too. But I find you have to aim those, and if you mess them up, then sometimes you might have to reset. With the taps, unless you miscount, then you're always going to get the same result, and there's no way to mess it up except for miscounting.
Yeah.
So, okay, it looks like we're going to make it through this one, which again, this level's not the easiest. It's definitely not the hardest either, but it looks like we're going to make it.
You can see how quickly it went from it looked scary and now it looks fine. Yeah. That's one of the wild things with Peggle speedrunning is sometimes you can be in a situation where it looks like oh god, I'm going to fail, we have to reset, and you're actually fine.
Yeah.
And the opposite, where you get a little overzealous and that was really cool.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, I can do this level, it's easy, and then you lose on a really simple level.
Yeah.
It's happened to everybody. You kind of have to always keep your guard up, even when you think you're in the clear.
And here we go on to the last level. This is also the last level of the base game, so yeah, we're seeing it again for one final time.
Our grand finale, yeah.
Yeah, and I do have a couple strategies. For one, you can get that. It always bounces in the same spot every time, so you can always get that slide as a free ball. Then I like to open up this over here. And it's not a perfect slide, you don't get all of it, but you get most of it, and enough to make it definitely worth it. Ooh, a bit of an error there, but hey, we actually got really lucky bounces there.
And it worked out.
Yeah. pretty good
Yeah,
stuff.
it's kind of an ill-placed green over there by Spork.
Yeah, this is.
I like to think that the mouses are placing these greens sometimes to spite us. Like that one was pretty bad.
Yeah.
That one in the middle is pretty good.
We'll see. This actually could still be a loss, very much so here.
Yeah, so we'll let him focus here.
Yeah.
Culminating everything we know: the free ball skills, the points, the Spork.
So now we come to a bit of a problem. Oh, that was really lucky. Wow.
Nice.
And I'm actually going to do something a little maybe unorthodox here, which is just open this up a bit. We got a pink there, which is really lucky as well. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to purposely do this. At this point, we have enough balls and stuff that I think we should be good to basically just kind of like work our way down here. And I'm going to try to hopefully get a couple free balls as well, but... Okay, that's fine, because now we actually have much less chance of not hitting, so...
And
there we go.
we got close there.
Yeah, a little bit close, but that would do it for this run. And I think that, honestly, so we got lucky on some of the harder challenges, got a little unlucky on some of the easier challenges, but it's kind of, you know, with a run that's relatively... A run like this that has a relatively high amount of variance with challenges, and also is somewhat shorter than like a full Peggle run. I think a good, you know, we should expect a good amount of variance. I think a good benchmark would be 45 minutes for a marathon run. So I'm still pretty happy with this time for the no reset run. And yeah, any closing thoughts, Helios?
Play the game. It's fine.
Yeah, but so if anyone is watching this for consideration for the marathon event, I think it is a really unique kind of twist on the Peggle speedrunning, where it shows, you know, there's the main kind of side of Peggle speedrunning, which is just the normal game, like adventure mode and new game plus and stuff like that. But there's this whole other kind of side to the community and the types of runs that are done that involves these GM style runs. And while this is certainly a bit of an outlier in that it's one of the spin-off titles, it is a good sampler of what I think the main games that are much longer with those runs show off. So I think it's a good sampler to show off that style of the gameplay while still being relatively short and sweet. So, yeah, thanks for watching.
See ya.